Now for something completely different. Just after Christmas on a freezing cold day, hundreds have gathered to race down the River Blackwater to raise money for charity. ETV went along to this prestigious event. Hello and welcome. I'm Gary Phillips. It's just after Christmas on a bitterly cold day, and I'm here at Maldon with hundreds of other people, all in fancy dress, to take part in the 5-kilometre row race. The money raised in today's race will go to the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. So, who takes part in these races? Well, I spoke to some of the competitors.
EastWard Sailing Club.
And how do you rate your chances today?
Oh, we're going to win.
You're going to win?
Absolutely. Last year.
So you're the defending champion?
Yes.
What's the secret then? What's the secret of this race?
A lot of puff and puff. Spinach.
And obviously silly costumes.
Yes, silly costumes, Christmas dinner, and skill.
Well, of course. And plenty of alcohol. The organisers decided to have a Le Mans start. That's where the competitors have to race from the pub to their boats. Unfortunately, there seemed to be some chicanery going on. But never mind, all the competitors had life jackets and the RNLI were on hand to help anyone who needed it. It's nice to see so many competitors in fancy dress, and hopefully most of them will stay dry. We too will soon be on the river, giving you a sea-level view of the entire race. Yeah. Well, after you've had all the excesses of the Christmas turkey and Christmas pud, what better way to get off those pounds than going on the Maldon 5-kilometre annual charity row? This is an event held every year, and the money raised goes to the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. I'm here on some strange water at Maldon, and the race has actually begun, and as you can see all around, the rowers are going like crazy. They've got to row all the way out this way, then they've got to drink a pint of beer, row back, drink another pint of beer, and then row to the finish. We'll be there at the finish, so you'll be able to see exactly just how they get on. There's a boat full of Father Christmases, there's a boat full of pirates, and there's this boat here, which I'm glad to say is solid enough. So we'll see you at the finish. This is the route of the first leg, from the Little Ship Club to the Maldon Yacht Club, where they have to drink half a pint and collect a balloon. How are you doing, sir? Do you think you're going to win? Excuse me, is that allowed? Who's winning? How are you doing in the race? Are you winning? Oh, back. Oh, right. What? Are you?
I don't get out.
Are you winning? No. Good luck. Hi, Marconi ladies. How are you doing in the race? Do you think you're going to win? Here we are at the halfway stage. The boats have gone to the point. They've had their half a bitter. hopefully they've all picked up their balloon, because that was part of the race, and they're racing back to the bridge. That's the second stage of the race, where they have to drink another half pint of beer and have to pick up another balloon. Then they race all the way back to the clubhouse, and the first one there is supposedly the winner. As you can see, there were some very colourful costumes. There was a lady there dressed as a sort of lady from Breton. As the competitors row back past the start, you can see the Thames barges moored at the quayside. Once these barges were the lifeblood of the East Coast ports. Now they're a monument to our marine heritage. Well, we're just over the halfway stage of the race. The leaders are cracking ahead now. They've picked up their balloon and they've drunk their half a beer at the stage you saw back there. They've got to go up to this bridge, they've got to pick up another balloon, and they've got to drink another half pint of beer. I hope that doesn't affect their performance. I know I could do with a hot toddy myself, I think. And then we're going to meet the race winners back at the clubhouse, probably in a little while. So until then, we'll let you get on with the race. Well, we're racing back to the finish so that we can be there when the guy gets his cup or medal. And as you saw, they went up to the bridge, they collected their balloon, they drank their half pint, and they're racing back now. And the winners should be getting there very soon, and so should we. You can see the Father Christmas boat whizzing by, and they were doing quite well in the race, but I think they've actually slipped back a bit. They're being rocked about a bit, but the Christmas tree's still there at the mast. There goes the lady in the Breton sweater who we were talking to earlier. She's well down in the race, unfortunately, but another brave, plucky attempt. She hasn't even reached the three-quarter way stage yet. And, this is the finish line. This is where they're racing back to drink their last half pint of beer and collect their winning trophy. Don't forget, all proceeds are going to the Royal National Lifeboat Institution here at Maldon. Last year, they tell me they raised about £2,000, which was a splendid effort all round.
You want to go in the bar now?
Well, I'm with the winners of the race, Peter and Clint. How tough was it out there today?
Yeah, it was knackered.
Pretty tough. Yeah. Totally.
Don't want to do it again anyway.
Is this the first time you've been in the competition?
No, I've done it nearly every year now. Every year.
And is this the first time you've won?
No, we've won most years, except for out of 5 years. I think we've lost twice. I think he won it. I wasn't with him last year.
I've won it 3 years running. This is me third year, so.
So what's the secret of this race then?
Just put everything you've got into it, really, and just go for it.
Do you train hard for it?
I didn't this year, I did last year. I trained about 3 months beforehand. but this year I didn't do any at all. We only got together a week ago, so...
No, I get it right. It's only Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday night, decided to go, yeah.
And you had no problem picking up the balloons and drinking the beers at the half stages?
Well, the drink's not very nice. That buggers you up. Yeah.
Gives you a stitch.
Yeah. Well, we didn't drink a lot of it, it bugs me down his shirt.
Well, well done, lads. And I believe that the money raised here goes to the RNLI.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we raised 80 quid in the... because we didn't know he was going to do it until 2 days ago, so we managed to get 80 quid in 2 days, which wasn't too bad, so that was a good day.
Thanks a lot. Well done again.
Yeah, thank you.
But the doctor...
Where did you come in the race?
Third,
That's
apparently.
not very wet.
Yeah. Was it worth it? Would we do it again? This is a question.
It was a bit choppy out there, wasn't it?
in the first place?
This is the first time you've been in the race, is it?
No.
I rode in it years ago.
He's an old hand. It's my first time.
And so what sort of tips did you give him for rowing in this,
Just keep pulling, keep the stroke.
We should
Just
brought
follow
some
my
bags
stroke.
of flour.
That's right, yeah.
I think there's
Gets
a
the
bit of
opposite.
chicanery, a bit of gamesmanship going out.
Yeah, I noticed a bit of cheating at the start and at the halfway
I mean,
point.
if we'd had a decent start, well, who knows what would have
Yeah,
happened.
but at least we're consistent. We cheated at the start, we cheated at the end, we cheated halfway through. So I mean, at least we're consistent, aren't we?
Well, with me now I have Warren Panther, who is the press relations officer for the Maldon Little Ship Club, who organised this race today. Warren, how do you think it's gone?
Well, it's gone very well. 41 boats. That's the biggest entry we've ever had, I think. And the biggest single sponsor, the Friends of the Bell at Wood and Walter, are declaring £1,100 for one single entry. So it looks like being a bumper year all round.
And the money goes where?
Well, it's for the RNLI. The local branch, you find most people in the ship club are also members of the local branch of the RNLI, and that means that if we've raised well over £2,000 today, that's 10% of our annual total. The branch turns in about £20,000 a year.
And how did the race begin?
Well, it began heaven knows how many years ago, and every so often we've had about 15 races all told now. And it's not really a race, it's a sponsored row and a bit of a laugh, but it's for raising funds. So it's not just first home, it's first pair home, it's fancy dress, it's first ladies home and everything like that.
Well, I'm here with the men from the RNLI, and part of the reason for this race is to raise money for the National Lifeboat Institution. Is that right?
Indeed, here the Maldon branch and the people in Maldon over the years have raised a great deal of money for the West Mersey lifeboat in particular, which is our boat.
How else does the RNLI raise money?
Well, it's done largely by public subscription. You get quite a lot of people join the Shoreline Club, and their subscriptions help. People leave legacies to help to maintain and buy lifeboats, and people will hold events such as this and their fetes and all sorts of things right through the year, different types of places inland and at sea that will raise money for the lifeboats.
What's the main function of the National Lifeboat Institution?
It's for the saving of life at sea, and that is it in a nutshell.
But are you kept very busy on a small estuary like this?
Yes, we're one of the busiest stations probably on the coast for inshore lifeboats, and I don't know where we would be in the league, but we have somewhere in the region of 40 calls a year, which is very much a match with most places where there's a lot of leisure sailing and yachting activity.
Is this a full-time job for you all?
No, all volunteers. There are very few full-time lifeboatmen in the institution. They're all volunteers. Everybody's got jobs of their own that they do, and mostly we're sort of close to the waterside and the lifeboat. If you happen to work nearby, obviously that's what counts, and we get a call, we go. That's it.
Well, that just about wraps it up for the Little Maldon Ship Club 5 kilometre race. The people have picked up their prizes, and jolly well done to everybody who won. Thanks for everyone for turning up, and turning up in their fancy dress as well. That was brilliant. What a wonderful way to end the year just after Christmas, and to row off those pounds you put on while you were stuffing yourself full of turkey. And who knows, perhaps next year ETV will be back down here, and we might even have a boat on the river. So until we meet again, this is Gary Phillips from ETV saying bye-bye. See you again soon.